Have you ever been playing a video game and found a character that you really love and want to hug, and then were sad because you realized you never would be able to, but then thought, wait, maybe I can? Hi, I'm Oliver. I'm definitely not mentally ill, and I did just that. Obviously, the first course of action is going to be to draw him. That took longer than you may expect, because I didn't really show it much, and you can't even really see it on the paper. But, oh boy, I did not know what to expect. It turned out quite bigger than I initially thought. Turns out 6'6" is really tall.
Oh god.
Since I had felt I got the face ready, then the next day I struggled to set up the piece of paper, because it was big and hard to work with. Eventually I got it, and then it was time to cut out the pieces. Oh yeah. After everything was cut out, I first debated my life choices, and then I traced everything out on the fabric, making sure to flip everything over after I trace one side, lest I forget.
They look like onesie bottoms.
I honestly don't know what he's wearing.
Then we cut out the fabric. It actually took quite a while, so I had to continue on the next day. Brief tea break, and oh god, what am I doing with my life? Accidentally cut a hole in the wrong place, it could have been really bad, and now we have everything cut out. It took a while, but I'm proud. Now we have everything laid out. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that I cut out the badge as well. Time to iron each piece now. Every single piece. Even this long one. Panic. Yay, ironing's done. Time to cut out pieces of the face and chest so that I can use them as stencils. I didn't use them much, but it was good in practice at least. And so the eyes. And now it's time to bust out the sewing machine. The longer this goes on, the longer I question my life. Forgive me if you can. And then I sewed on the mouth with the sewing machine. Face done, now it's time to realize I have no idea what I'm doing and panic a little bit because, well, I've never done this before. I decided to work on the neck first instead, so I had a feel for what I was doing before I moved on to the most important piece. And something's not right here. Turns out that it wasn't even threaded. So obviously I had to do that. Probably should have went to bed instead and continued on tomorrow, but I was stubborn, so here we go. Now I actually started to sew. I managed to forget the clip of me turning it inside out, but here I am stuffing it.
That's not too bad. For having never done a cube before, or anything square, it's not bad. It's janky, but it's not bad.
The next day I actually sewed the face and remembered the clip of me turning it inside out. This is when it started to actually feel worth it. I mean, look at that face, I'm so proud of it. Then I had to stuff him. Oh look, a doggo, how cute. She wants snuggles. I finished up the head and god was I tired. Lunch break, then realized the strip of fabric for the torso was not long enough, so I had to cut 2 little pieces actually to fix it, and it was irritating, but bumps in the road would make a project worth it. Then I sewed the little pieces on, finally had an energy drink. Then I sewed the torso pieces together as originally planned, and things started to feel like they were going more smoothly. I turned the torso inside out and was actually really surprised and happy with the result. Then again another time for stuffing, stitched the opening closed, and it looks really good. It was so huggable, I was so happy.
So this is the kitchen.
I did not get enough sleep last night.
It was time for the legs, and I was not excited for this part because of this really long piece of fabric. But if I'm completely honest, it went smoother than I expected. I had to turn it inside out now, and it looks good. Then it was time to stuff it, and I actually ran out of stuffing here, so I had to continue the next day. We went and got 5 pounds of stuffing the next morning in hopes that it would actually be enough to finish this project. I then finished stuffing the legs. Again, I was surprised with how it was coming along. I decided to glue the head and neck together and stitch it after the fact, before I moved on to the arms. And it was here that I realized I needed to spread it, but didn't have anything to do that, so yep, use my finger. Obviously, I didn't think it through enough and had to go and grab a paper towel after the fact. Idiot. Then I tied the pieces together with the belt I had, whatever works. I was not excited to do the arms and hands and everything. With all those angles, oh, I knew it would be a pain. And it kind of was. As expected, most of the sewing was sewing and then turning and sewing and then turning. Then I had to turn it inside out, and honestly, I wasn't too happy, but it is what it is. Stuffing it did kind of get my hopes up a little more, though, so it wasn't too bad in the end, I suppose. The arms done, it was time to put things together. I hand-stitched the torso to the legs, with a special thanks to my mother for helping me pin it in place, and was finally getting a feel for how big it actually would be. After that, it was time to sew the neck and head to the torso, and again, thanks for my mum for helping me pin it.
Almost there, buddy.
I had to add some extra stitches to the back of the neck to make sure that it stood up more and that he wasn't just completely slouched over. I mean, I know his posture's bad, but come on. Why did I sit him like that? And for the last bit, the arms. There they are. There he is, all put together. I was so thrilled, not only to be done with this, but with how it turned out. Part of me really couldn't believe that I just put together an entire life-size Dave. It was such a fun process. That's groovy. Paper was recycled, and this is all the waste we had. In the end, I am pretty satisfied with how things turned out. I'm definitely a beginner at sewing. This is my third plush. Yeah, I did a frog, and then I did a marionette, and now he exists. My main regrets are not using interfacing and being too lazy to measure and cut the individual strips to do the sides, meeting at the corners, so it's a little rounder than I thought it would turn out. That's also because I didn't use interfacing, and if I did this again, I would probably use wiring in the neck. Will I do it again? Probably not, but time will tell. This took 5 days to make. 5 days. I woke up pretty early and ended pretty late, which was not the best for my sleeping schedule, but yeah, here we are. What do you think, Dave? What's your opinion on this? Great.